The secrets to Tobi's abilities and possible identity are finally revealed in my review of Naruto Shippuden, episode 342. Action fans, you are gonna love this episode. Naruto fans, you're gonna love this episode. I wish we could have this on a weekly basis, but that allows me to appreciate this episode all the more. Don't get me wrong, this was not the best episode of Naruto, it was not the end-all be-all action episode, but it was handled really well, and we got to see a huge team-up battle, Kakashi, Guy, and of course, Naruto fighting against Tobi as the Ten Tails is being revived right there on the battlefield. One thing I like about this episode is as the Ten Tails is starting to transform, it looks creepy as shit. It's got all these weird spiky protrusions coming out of its body, and its eyes are starting to bleed, and its jaw is ripping open. It's real creepy looking, and it's just incredibly otherworldly. And before it can start to transform, Kakashi decides he's going to try and use his Kamui ability, his weird teleporting ability, to try and decapitate the damn thing. But it doesn't work. As soon as that happens, Killer Bee and the Eight Tails try to punch it, but Tobi puts this big fire barrier around it, and that's when our characters are forced to fight against Tobi. This part of the episode is definitely one of the highlights because all of the action and choreography is really cool. It's really fast and fluid, and there are moments when they actually slow it down, and I really like that because you get to see all of their moves sort of like flying through Tobi's body. One scene that I just loved was when Guy used his nunchucks and just went Michelangelo style against Tobi, just swinging left and right, going crazy, and as the nunchucks were leaving Tobi's body, he materialized and actually grabbed them as they were leaving, and I just thought that was really awesome. There were a lot of little moments like that that made this episode cool. And this is where we get our very first clue as to how Tobi's abilities work. Now, there's this part where Kakashi throws this kunai, and it's infused with lightning chakra, and he has to use his Kamui on it to teleport it away. And then suddenly he realizes that Tobi has this scratch on his mask, and that's the only thing that could have scratched it was that kunai that went away to the other dimension. But how does this work exactly? So, this is when Kakashi has this theory. He thinks that Tobi is possibly connected to the dimension where he sends things. So this is when Kakashi's like Captain America and he's orchestrating the entire battle. And he sends Naruto out to fight and he tells him to use a Rasengan. And as he starts to use it and go through Tobi's body, suddenly Kakashi uses his Kamui on the Rasengan. And then they pan over to Tobi's shoulder and then it starts to bubble up and boom, it freaking explodes. Rasengan hits him point blank and it sends him flying. And a nice little visual touch as he's sliding away, his fan gets caught on this rock and it just makes his body flail a little bit. And this just shows that he really got hit hard by this technique because he clearly got knocked out a bit and had the wind knocked out of him. And just, boy, was that an awesome scene. It was just so awesome to see Kakashi combining his abilities with Naruto's. And this is also when Tobi has like this big outburst, which is fantastic because it's also another clue to who he is. And while all this is going on, Kakashi starts to suddenly get really nervous and freak out. And he has no idea why he could possibly have the same abilities as him. The only conclusion he could come to is that it could be related to his old friend Obito. And that's sort of what's freaking him out at the moment. He fears that he might be fighting against his former friend. And so this is when the episode starts to get really intense because Tobi starts to do what he always does, which is be a villain and start monologuing and tell them all, you will never win, there's nothing but despair, I will rule the world, M. Bison quote. And then suddenly Kurama switches places with Naruto and lets Tobi know, none of that shit's gonna work, you're not gonna get through to Naruto, and we're about to fuck your shit up. And that's when he goes into his Kyuubi Chakra Mode transformation and suddenly begins to charge Tobi. The preview for the next episode will definitely give some things away, but by the end of the year, we are going to know Tobi's identity in both the anime and the manga, so we can stop referring to him as Tobi, which will be great because every time I do these reviews, I try my best not to do spoilers for those who watch the anime only, and it's very tough. But still, this was an exciting episode. Had a lot of really great action, a lot of good choreography. All of the musical cues were very good. And even the stuff that I typically don't like flashbacks and stuff, I thought they actually worked within the confines of this episode. And they made all of the emotional moments work really well. The biggest highlight, obviously, is getting to learn about Tobi's abilities. Like, it's not just that they're going through him, it's that he's sending parts of his body that they're touching to another dimension. That's just a nice, really clever touch, and the fact that they're connecting it to Kakashi is really awesome. One thing about this week's episode is that the animation was very good. I mean, it wasn't, like, perfect, it wasn't, like, the best episode ever quality, but it was up there. I wish it could be like that every week, but frankly, it's just not going to be. I'm really excited for those who only watch the anime, because in the next 2 weeks you're finally going to know who Tobi is, and we can finally lay that little thing to rest, and it'll just be great to finally say his name. So there it is, guys. That's the end of my review. I have no complaints with this episode. Just a really solid one. A lot of really good action, good team-up battle, learning about Tobi's abilities. Just too many good things to count, and just all the emotional moments, they hit right here. So I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. Check it out, guys. Awesome episode. So I thought this was a pretty full package episode of Naruto, but what about you guys? Did you like it? You can let me know with your comments below. Maybe you could tell me about your favorite moments, maybe some stuff you didn't really care for, what you want to see from the future of the series. And you could hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. And you could sub. It helps us out too. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.